Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Today we talk about the Indo-US relationship, and I've got two topics for you. My topic number one is Indo-US trade relations. And my topic number two is about this International Religious Freedom Report that United States had released a few days back and the implications of those reports. Let's get right into the story. If you remember, a few weeks back, we had done an editorial on the possible fuel price hike. And we had spoken to you about US removal of waivers on Iranian fuel purchase. We told you that India will not be able to purchase fuel from Iran anymore. We will not be able to purchase oil from them. For India to purchase oil from Iran was actually very beneficial for India. India had a 60-day credit with Iran. India could pay Iran in Indian currency. They didn't have to depend on US currency. And United States told India not to buy from Iran. Why? Because Iran does not get along well with United States. United States have a problem with Iran. So they said, nothing doing, India cannot buy fuel. Otherwise, we'll put sanctions on you. Now, it is a different issue that India does not get along well with Pakistan. But United States does business with Pakistan, no problem. And you can't say anything. But when India wants to do business with somebody that we want to do business with, they say, look, don't, or we'll put sanction. Anyway, so that was the story we had spoken to you then. Today, incidentally, a gentleman called Eliot Engel, who is the chairman of the US House Foreign Affairs Committee, wrote to this gentleman called Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo is the Secretary of State of the United States. He wrote a letter to Mike Pompeo saying that, listen, you know what? We don't do negotiations with India. We actually don't do fair negotiations with India. We coerce India. Coerce India means we force India to do things. We arm twist India to do things. I mean, recently our GSP, the Generalized System of Preference, was taken away, which is our preferential trade access, was taken away from us. That was removed from us. So always when India is dealt with a gun on the head. So they put a gun on our head and say, hey, karo. If you don't do it. Now, our minister, our brand new External Affairs Minister, seems to be thinking differently. In fact, I'll read out a statement he said. He said, both the countries are having their own interest. So it is natural to have some conflicts. So both of us have our own interest, we are protecting our own interest, so it is natural to be conflict. Well, the logic is right, but I don't know what interest of us are we protecting. I mean, he makes statements like India will find a common ground to sort out multiple issues, including bilateral trade. He says we find common ground and we sort out issue. What common ground? In this particular case where we were told not to buy oil from Iran, what was the common ground? US said not to buy oil from Iran. We said, okay, we will not buy oil from Iran. End of story. Common ground kya hai? Negotiation kya hai? What is a negotiation? Now that said, we need to give credit for one thing, and that is that our bilateral trade with America has definitely done well. Our trade with America has definitely done well. And our trade deficit with America has also done exceedingly well. Now, just to give you an example, in 2009, we exported 21.2 billion US dollars to America and we imported $16.4 billion. In 2010, $29.5 billion, imported 19.2. In 2011, exported 36.2, imported 21.5. In 2012, exported 40.5, imported 22.1. In 2013, 41.8, imported 21.8. In 2014, 45.4, imported 21.5. In 2015, 44.8, imported 21.5. 2016, 46 and imported 21.6, 2017 $48.5 billion and imported 25.6, and in 2018 we exported $54.3 billion and imported $33.1 billion from the United States. We totally did a bilateral trade in 2018 alone. We did a bilateral trade of $87.9 billion. It soared from $37.6 billion in 2009 to $87.9 billion in 2018. So that is kudos. It doubled since 2009. That's fantastic. And the fact that even our trade deficit, that means our exports to America was far more than the imports that we did from America. So our trade deficit was around 20.8 billion US dollars. So that's fabulous. That's very nice. But the fact remains that what price are we paying for this trade deficit? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. And more importantly, is this price worth? Will dancing to Americans' tune affect our economy in the long run? Will it affect our bilateral relationships around? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. A few days back, the Secretary of State, Mr. Mike Pompeo, the gentleman who is here in India currently, this gentleman had released a report in the United States a few days back. This report was called the International Religious Freedom Report 2018. This report said that violence against Muslims and Dalit has increased drastically in our country. This report said that cow vigilante and mob lynching is the order of the day, and it is uncontrolled. This report said RSS and VHP, in fact, I will read out this report to you. I will read out this part to you, which is quite sensitive and interesting. The report said that the multifaceted campaign by Hindu nationalist group like the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Sangh Parivar and the Vishwa Hindu Parishad to alienate non-Hindus or lower caste Hindus is a significant contributor to the rise of religious violence and persecution. This report said, and I again read it out to you, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi seldom made statements decrying mob violence, and certain members of his political parties have affiliation with Hindu extremist group and used inflammatory language about religious minorities publicly. They also said that the government has failed to act against the incidents that is taking place across the country. So all in all, this report has come down very heavily on us and has called us religious intolerant. Now there are two things to it. The first thing is, Government of India said, hey, hello, who are you? What are you to tell us who we are? What locus standi you have? You have no locus standi to tell who we are, and so we don't bother about your report. Doesn't make sense to us. And your report is not even correct. In fact, Mr. Ravish Kumar, the secretary, the foreign secretary, made a statement and he said, it is widely acknowledged that India is a vibrant democracy where the constitution provides protection of all religious freedom, where democratic government and rule of the law further promote and protect the fundamental rights. He made a statement, he said, listen, you know what, we are a democratic country, we protect everybody's rights. And the fact is, a lot of these things that is being said in the report, I wonder that can we deny all of them? Can we deny the fact that there is cow vigilante? Can we deny the fact that there has been mob lynching? Can we deny the fact that there has been atrocities against the minorities and the Dalits in this country? Can we deny the fact? Can we deny the fact that atrocities against minorities, especially Muslims, are actually on the rise? Almost every day we get one video on our WhatsApp group, one video or another of someone being lynched, someone being asked to say Jai Shri Ram, someone being beaten up because they are wearing a skull cap, so on and so forth. We have to ask ourselves, forget what America says. We have to be clear about the truth. And the truth possibly may be different to what we want the world to know. The second point that I wanted to say is, again, now coming back, who is America to ask these questions? A black is not, even today, there is discrimination against the blacks, even today as we speak. And hello, this President of the United States is a known bigot. He's a known bigot. He has spoken against every religion. He has spoken against Islam not once but many a times. So what gives United States this special right to point fingers at other countries? Let them remove reports on their own country and let us see what will be that report stating. So while they can say what they want, and possibly as Indians and as responsible Indian citizens, we'll definitely introspect what is happening inside our country. But here I agree to the External Affairs Ministry. Who are you to ask? You check your own house first, then talk to us.